Hi everybody, it's Eugene Lee Show. Today I'd like to show you some things in FARO's scene with respect to colorizing scans. For anybody who's done laser scanning, there's two things that often come up, and one is that the quality of the color capture of the scanner itself is not always so great, unless you're using a digital SLR camera with your scanner. And the second thing that is even more of a problem is when scanning outdoors, or when people are around, that sort of thing. You always have a problem where you scan one thing, but when it comes time to take the photos, somebody may have walked in front of an important part of the scan. Cars have been driving by; they're in different locations, and so you end up with problematic colors in the scan. So I want to show you a few things on how you can treat some of that to improve the look of your scan. And so in FARO Scene, there's three different ways you could approach that. And I'm not going to. I'll show one in particular in detail, but or maybe two in detail and not the other. So this one I'll just talk to you about. But one is if you go into your scans folder and you go to the particular scan, and then you'll see there's a photos folder. If you go in and look at the photographs, when you double click on one, you can bring up a single image of one of the scans that the scanner took. So I'll see if I can find something a little bit better here. Maybe this one here. Let's see what we got. Okay, so here's one where I've got a photo, and you can see that there's a chair here. I put this particular chair here in the view when it was taking photos, but it wasn't there during the scan. So I'm going to go back to the scan, and you'll see that here I've got this picture that's pasted on the wall, and I'll go on the outside and you can see how it's just pasted on the wall like that. And often if you get cars, they get pasted on the ground, and it just looks awful. So this is obviously something we want to correct. So what you can do, you can go to the particular photograph that's bugging you or causing a problem, and if you right click, go to import export and export picture, save it as a JPEG, bring it into Photoshop, use the clone stamp tool, erase it, recolor it, whatever it is that you need to do, and then resave it again as a JPEG image, and then choose come back into scene here on import export, just choose exchange picture, and then it will bring in the new photo. Then what you'll have to do is go back up here and go to the scan, go to color pictures, and then apply pictures, and then it'll apply them all again, but that new image will get applied, and it will change that. So that's one way to do it. The second way, which I think is the most probably the most useful way, would be to export the color overlay, which is basically the panoramic image. So we'll do that now. I'll show you how you do it. Just right click, go to Operations, Color, and then Export Cover Overlay. Export Color Overlay, excuse me. So once we do that, there's a menu that comes up, and you save it as a bitmap image into a folder. Now I've already done that, so what I'm going to do is switch to Photoshop, and I've got the image here. So it's the full, it's about 82 megabytes on this particular image. So let me just move this over here, and what I want to do is clean this up somehow. Now there's two things you can see here. Obviously the color's not the best, and oops, it's doing some funny things here with the screencast thing on. So let me just move this back into place. But there's a couple of things that you're going to want to do. One is clean up the color. The other might be to erase some things. Now I'm not going to erase the chair here with the box and stuff. What I will do is maybe erase something else that's a little bit easier. Obviously there's shadows and things like that. It's going to be complicated to do, and it may take some time, but let me move this over a bit. Just a bit more. Okay, so I've got these light switches and such. So if you hit S in Photoshop, you can use the clone stamp tool, click on an area around the object, and then just click over it, and I'm going to wipe that out. I'm going to do the same here with this, and just for the heck of it, there's a shadow on the door. Maybe I'll just get rid of some of that, just like that, and like this. So I've pretty much cleaned that up. That's fine. I think for the example I can that's enough to show. Now if you wanted to clean up, like I said before, that this thing in the middle, it's a bit of work, but it's certainly possible. Now the other thing that you can do is you can also add things in. So I added in a Radiohead logo because I'm a Radiohead fan, so why not? And you know, you can do that with anything in the scan. If you want to place a company logo or something like that, you can do that as well. But the most important thing here is going to be the color. Or something else here that I want to get to. So if you just sometimes just a little bit of adjustment to the color and the contrast can make a really big difference to the overall scan. So I'm just going to back out here a little bit more, and I'm just going to just do the levels here. Just some really basic things. I'm going to bring up the bottom end, so get a little bit darker, and I'm not going to do anything with the white because it's already pretty saturated on the top end. But something like this, that's good enough. Okay, so once I've got this, all I need to do is resave it again. I believe it's bitmap, PNG, and JPEG file that you have the option to do. Switch back to scene, get back here, go into operations, color pictures, and replace cover overlay. So I'm going to do that and go back here, and I've got it as cover overlay 1A. So I'm going to open that up. It may take some time to save. Well, this is already colored, but you can see here I don't have any of the switches, and you see I don't have the door handle and the shadow, and I also have my Radiohead logo here on the door. What I was going to say before was that the image that it exports is about 82 megabytes, so when you're in Photoshop and you're saving, it's going to take some time if you resave it as a JPEG. I think for me it worked out to about 20-something megabytes as a PNG file. So that's one way to do it. This is a really easy an easy option if you're cleaning up cars on the roadway and that sort of thing. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to put this back to normal for a second, and so I'm going to replace it with the original, which was 1. And there's a reason for that, is that I need the light switches in there to show you something else. So the third way, or the way you can do something, if you are scanning a particular object and you're not interested in colorizing the whole scan, but maybe you're scanning the facade of a building, or maybe you're scanning a sculpture or something like that, well, you can colorize the scan with a regular digital image. So what I did was I took a photograph of this section of the room here with just with nothing in it. So very plain, but just using a point and shoot camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose to go to color and colorize scan. Okay, so it brings up this menu here, and you need to choose the image here. So let me see if I can make this larger. Well, actually you'll see it in a second. So I'm going to double click on the image. I'm going to add it, and I'm going to hit view, and it gives me a split screen, and I'll try to make a bit more real estate here so you can see the image like that. So it's just that corner or just that part of the room. So I didn't do take multiple images or anything like that, or try to make a panoramic image. So I'm going to go and get more or less the same view here. So this here is sort of like a point picker. So I'm going to start by selecting. So I'm going to start off in this particular image, and I'll use the light switch. Let me see here. I'll go like that. Bring that up. And you could do this in a few different ways, but I'm going to do this quickly. Obviously, you're going to want to be more attentive when you do this. So 1, 2, 3, 4 around the light switch, and I'm going to do the same here. There we go. So I'm just going to do the same order. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can alternate. It doesn't matter what order you do these in. And if you make a mistake, just to note, you can click on one of the numbers here, right click, you can reassign, you can delete them, you can move their order up and down as well. So that's handy and sort of important to know. So I'm going to keep doing the I'll do a couple on this little light switch down here. Maybe I'll do in this order here, 1, 2, and I'll do a couple down here, 3, 4, and so I don't get ahead of myself, I'm going to do the same thing here, down in this corner, like so. So I chose this one, this one, this one, and this one, and I'm going to go across and also do this part of the hinge. I'm going to do the bottom part of the door, this corner right here, and also do the top of the door. Okay, so I'll move this over a little bit, top of the door, and I'm going to do the same over here. So I'm going to go do the hinge Yep, this bottom top of the hinge. I'm going to do the bottom part of the door right there. It's really washed out. That's okay. And I will do the top part of the door here. And it's probably enough. Maybe I'll do this part of the door just for the heck of it. And the same part of the door is over here. Okay. All right, good enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit, I'm just going to hit OK. Let that go. So it's going to figure out how to place the picture. Well, you'll see it right now here. Let me close this. You'll see that in my scan, I've now got a delineation line here where the image was pasted onto the point cloud. And you see it looks pretty good. So it looks like it's lining up quite well with the scan. But this is a really good way to use a high-resolution digital camera to get some really nice colors and contrast into your point cloud. So that's pretty much the ways we can do that. Okay, so the first way is to go to your pictures. Once you go to the pictures, you can export one of these. The second one is to go to exporting the whole panoramic image. So using the replace color overlay, first export and then replace it once it's edited. And then the third one is using colorize scan. So those are the three methods. I hope you found that particularly useful. Maybe it's something you can use in your workflow. And thanks a lot. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.